So far today, looking pretty good. As far as accuracy, we had a low in the pre-market, indicated by this low correlator here, low correlation here, and then out of oversold territory, indicated here by this RSI below 20. We had this big move to the upside, standing out on a one-day chart, and that was from the bottom of a range to the top of a range. Right, top of a range, bottom of a range. We went all the way back to the top, out of a decline from the bottom of the range to the top of a range, and then this here is like this back and forth kind of going on right here is very much like what you could see for prudence. But I think we've entered into the star card and we're on our way to the upside. We should see a breakout probably through these price levels here. And maybe through here even. Probably through here. And then around 11 o'clock at a peak, we should have a notable move back down, like from a near overbought territory on RSI. We should decline through multiple supports on a one-day chart. There's a good chance that we end up to the upside, but there's going to be like a lot of back and forth going on throughout the day. I think we probably end up to the upside because we've got a breakout correlation here in the late morning session, and then a breakout session mid afternoon session as well, or breakout correlation mid afternoon session as well. So it's a good possibility that we end near highs, but it's kind of a difficult one to pinpoint because we don't have a high correlation on the timeline. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, check out the book. We've got an ebook. You can get it on our website, Tarot for Traders. It explains the system of ESO meta analysis. Shop right here on our website, tarotfortraders.com. Ebook, or you can get the bundle with the cards. Explains ESO meta analysis, which is the third form of analysis developed by yours truly over 23-year period, guys. It's the most accurate form of financial chart analysis. It's actually the most accurate form of timing anything with charts that exists. It's far more accurate than technical analysis, far more accurate than fundamental analysis. If you combine it with technical analysis, you get like a roughly like a 98% average accuracy after some practice in any case. Hey, AU. Haven't seen you in a while. Good to see you. So what I'm looking for is this move here, and then before 11, like I'm looking for that breakout, and in the midst of the breakout, what I would recommend is to open up a short position. I would open up a partial short in case we end up at highs at the end of the day. But there's also a good possibility that we end up at lows at the end of the day after a breakout, like a turnaround. Like I said, it's very difficult to determine today's high location based on the nullified high correlator card. There's a good chance it's right here at 11 o'clock, but it could be at the end of the day too. It's hard to say. So that's why I would put on a partial short there. You might have an opportunity at the end of the day for a day trade to close out, but the idea would be to hold the short until the 30th. Or maybe even cash out here on the 29th. Yeah, on the 29th. There you go. Empress card appears. It's kind of like a different type of cross-reading congruency that I'm starting to utilize, where the correlations to the minor highs and minor lows and trade opportunities, the correlations there, like this is an Empress correlation. It takes place on the 29th rather than on the 30th, as indicated by the Empress card on the 29th, not the 30th. Matter of factly, you might be able to get out first thing in the morning there. But you should be able to get out at some point, either the morning, the afternoon, the 30th, maybe even the first, which is Friday. There's quite a few places where you could probably get out of the short, and I would take the earliest one with a good profit. A bird in hand's worth two in the bush, my friends. Oh, I know, AU. I know you are. We love you. Appreciate the credit when credit is due, AU. And I know who you are. Don't worry. I definitely know you're on board. Can I do guidance on? Hey AV, if I didn't say hey AV, can I do guidance on IWM this week? Sure thing. Oh, hold on a sec. Here's that move I was talking about. So we broke out through this one, like I said, we broke out through this one. Well, we're attempting to break out through this one, I should say. Man, I can't believe so like there aren't more people who know about our channel. Like I literally tell people what's gonna happen before it happens. Like blows my mind that people are so opposed to even looking at the evidence. Like it's so clearly fact, not fiction. Um, I'll do IWM in just a moment, AV. I just want to make sure I don't miss this. Well, IWM. Let's take a look. All right, so IWM for this week. Overall trend direction throughout each trading day. All right, so there's an important technical price level highlighted today. Failed attempt to break through key resistance tomorrow, followed by a decline through key support. A notable decline on Thursday, and out of oversold territory on Friday. We have a move to the upside. So it looks like overall it's kind of like sidewaysy for the week. Maybe with the notable move there at the end on Friday to the upside, ending up to the upside. It's possible. You know, funny enough, AU, the future is always changing. But it's not so much a matter of who knows what. It's a matter of what one knows, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. It's not a matter of who knows what. It's a matter of what one knows that impacts the future. And that word knows is so important. Oh yeah, I forgot to take that off on a few of them. Is that for? For which reading, AU? I know I did that on a couple, but I thought I'd kind of cut it out. Um, it's not a matter of which one is not there. The sequence of events will remain the same. It's probably just kind of like squished into one of the days. Hey, Ellen. Hey, Baby Yoda. Doing well here on the BTC. Yeah, let me take a look. I thought I caught it on all of them. Yeah, so it's not a matter of which one of these days actually happens. It'll be more like a combo of the two, like in one day. Because remember, it's the sequence of events that matters most, not the timing. The timing is accurate for the most part, if not all of it. But in cases where it's not, it's like off plus or minus a day. On a really bad reading, off plus or minus 2 days. But I consider that garbage reading, in my opinion. I was just doing the Dogecoin January reading. Oops, did I close the wrong one? Oop. Yep. And that's what we have here, possible highest highs, like the same highs or higher highs. I think it's probably going to be the same highs. If it's higher highs, it'll be just by slightly, but I think it's probably we're going to come up against the same highs that we've already seen throughout the month here. And really, like the 31st, the 30th and the 31st, that energy is very sidewaysy for the both of them. The success card I used to read as a big move higher, and then the establishment of support at what was once resistance. But it's really not about the move higher. The card's energy is really about the establishment of support at which once resistance. A lot of the time, that obviously involves a move higher, but that move higher can come before the card in a lot of cases. It's not guaranteed within the card definition of success. What's guaranteed within the card definition of success is to establish support where once was resistance. How is SPCE doing? There's that breakout. I get to that SPC in just a moment, guys. All right, so I'm only working with a couple $100 here. What I did is I opened up a January 5th 439 put, which I'll probably sell much sooner. Like, I'm definitely won't sell it in January. I'll probably sell it in early December, if not right here at the end of the month. And like I said, you want to put on a partial if you're following these trades today. You'd want to put on a partial around this peak here because we probably continue higher even. And it's like a brief peak that's easily missed, so you want to be careful not to miss out on it. Like this is what a brief peak that's easily missed looks like. If you take this out of this little line here out of the equation, this is not a brief peak that's easily missed, right? Yeah, so tomorrow looks like a cash out day. Looks like we pretty much nailed that highest high here on the, you could say, the 15th intraday, but really with the close on the 20th. So we were there on, we had it what do you call it, a possible highest high here around the 21st. Yeah, so tomorrow looks like a cash out day. Uh, well, matter of fact, let me take a look at December here. What the heck? I'd probably wait till Friday. Friday or possibly even the 5th, but the 5th's probably waiting. I'd probably go with Friday. It's probably going to be a similar price level to the highs from the 20th, 21st. And we were a little off on the lowest low, but not. Oh no, we weren't. Actually, we have it for the first. We nailed that, guys. We nailed the low, and then we came close on the 6th, or I should say on the 8th, really. But in any case, we nailed that lowest low there on the first. Pretty darn close on the highs. This SPC reading was conducted, created September 3rd, 2023, 3:10 p.m. Eastern Time. Not bad. That's the power of ESO meta-analysis, guys. Again, if you want to learn more about the system of analysis, you can get our ebook. It was developed by yours truly over a 23-year period. I was once a Wall Street stockbroker. Left the floor because I just priorities are all screwed up down there, guys. But it occurred to me that I was there for a reason. I had a near-death experience. My third eye opened. I understood that I was there for a reason, and I saw it as my life's purpose to find a way to transmute the competitive energy of the stock market into goodwill. Imagine if everybody that made money in the stock market took some of that money and put it to goodwill. The world would be such a better place, guys. So develop that system, and it turns out as of maybe probably 4 or 5 years ago, as of then, I went from like a 75% accuracy to a 98% average accuracy, meaning that 98 out of 100 statements made based on this information are going to come out to be true. And we're predicting, I mean, guys, the S&P 500 2023 reading that we reference regularly, it was created October 26, 2022, over a year ago, my friends. Over a year ago, almost a year and a half ago, almost. And that's nothing, guys. The 2024 was created June 16th, 2023. So this time next year we'll be like, holy crap. Hopefully. I'm not always right. Huh. Interesting. We might go a little higher here. It's possible, but really we're getting close to a pivot point where we turn around and we move through multiple support levels to the downside. That is followed by more move to the upside and another breakout. That's why I say it's kind of like a wild sideways-y day, back and forth. You're welcome, AU. Hey, Billy. Is there one more peak for Tesla, or is it all downhill from here? Do you mean like for the year 2023, or what's your time frame on that, Billy? We will be world famous someday, guys, for this system of timing. It's not just used for the stock market. You can use it to time anything. It just so happens that I learned over that 23-year period, I learned the representation, what each card's representation is of a technical chart. Nobody else was paying attention. I did a one-day reading by the hour every day for like years on end. All right, so here we go. The December reading was done October 8th. Ooh, gosh, we've got that death card there at the end of the month, along with the 8 Princess of Discs. So this is probably going to follow suit with a lot of the other 2023 readings where it looks like we have a low at the end of the year. I think we probably have a peak tomorrow. It might be slightly higher. Let me see where we are. Definitely off on the lows here. We had a pretty significant decline on the 22nd, but it was not a lowest low. We did catch this gap to the upside and reaching for distant resistance here around the 13th, 14th. Highest high on the 3rd, or I should say 2nd, 3rd. And then we go into higher one on the, is it the 8th? Roughly another peak on the 8th. See, the 10th ended up being a trough, which basically the 9th really... The 9th we got pretty solidly. That was a decline offering opportunity to open up a long position, which you would close on the 10th or on the 13th more likely. That would have made some solid gains, guys. See, like, even if we're off on, like, a part, remember, there's so many statements made, the majority of them are going to be accurate. So we might be off one time on where the highest high is or the lowest low is, but that doesn't mean that everything else in the reading is going to be off. I mean, a bad reading for us is like 86 out of 100 statements is accurate. That's, like, frustrating at that level to me. Anything below that, I'm like, ugh. But that hardly ever happens. Yeah, so I think we probably have another peak tomorrow. My system got even better since December, I gotta say. I updated a couple of things that I learned over the past few months. Oh, I do have them highlighted. Nice. Yeah, I would say we're probably... Either we have another move back up into like roughly the same peak and around like, or maybe a higher peak actually around this 11:15-ish point. Which, as I say that, there we go. Like, I just hope I'm alive when I become world famous. I mean, okay, so for 2023 Tesla, there might be another. It seems like we're kind of like toppy, but we go like back and forth a little bit here, in like the first week or two, and we might see like another peak in like on the 8th or on the 13th even, but there should be a pretty significant decline around the around the 13th, maybe a little sooner, but probably around the 13th. I'm seeing it in a lot of readings. And as far as how big of a decline, I expect us to be... We're going to go at least through this 425. It's possible we go lower. That's what like my reading, I'm kind of sensing from my reading, but there is some conflicting data there. And when I threw the cards down asking, it said we don't hit this. We have one over here. We have one here. We have one here. And we have one here. In all cases, we continued to go higher. And that's what I say. There's two different scenarios for a unicursal. It's more common to see a unicursal kind of like marking off a pivot point, right? Like right here, marking off a pivot point before a notable decline. But in cases where we go higher immediately following that unicursal, what we're actually doing is the unicursal is marking off a price level that we're going to break down through over the next significant decline on like a significant failure, if you will. And you can see how these unicursals, there's a unicursal price level near each of these gaps. There's a big gap here that needs to be filled. There's a big gap here that needs to be filled. There's a big gap here that needs to be filled. There's a unicursal in there, all of them. So we should break down through this unicursal here at roughly 423, as I predicted months ago, actually. Hey, Dune, by the way. All right, so right here, I would definitely take this opportunity to open up a partial short. This is where I would do it, guys. If I'm looking to get into a short position and like in anticipation of this volatility that we're going to see. And I say partial because we might go higher into the end of the day, but I don't want to miss this opportunity if we do not go higher. And what we're seeing here is the fruition, this overbought territory, or you could say near overbought, because really overbought's going to be above this price level. It's at like 79-ish. Overbought territory peak that we saw off through multiple support levels, and it precedes a rally that offers opportunity to open up a short position or close a long position. So open up a partial short here. If we have another opportunity at the end of the day, I would say add to that short. If you want to day trade and we have an opportunity at the end of the day to close a short, then do that. But it's hard to say which way we're going to go at the end of the day there. You're welcome, Billy. I'm going to be on for about another 10 minutes, guys. Everybody, do me a favor. If everybody was to share this live stream with somebody they think it would help, or somebody that would be interested in it, that would really, really help support the channel right now, help grow the channel. So if everybody go ahead and just do that, share this live stream with somebody. Much appreciation. Much love goes out to all you guys for helping out. And if you haven't subscribed and you like this information, I don't know why you wouldn't like this information. I mean, we literally been calling the moves of the stock of the S&P 500 like we're doing it like a minute before the move happens. We're like, "Oh, this is probably going to happen." Boom, there it happens. This is probably going to happen. Boom, there it happens. I mean, we don't get it right all the time, but most of the time we get it right. So, why people would pass by this channel is beyond me. There's nobody else on the world that can do that. Nobody. Not yet, anyways. But we're teaching people. Yeah, so I would say this is probably where that decline commences, guys. Don't miss out on a partial short here. If I had more money to play with, I would have added to my short right there. But, I mean, I got a really, really long, like, my expiration is in January. Will Peppy Coin have a big run in 2024? I don't have that one on my list. I'm going to add that. Will Peppy Coin have a big run in 2024? Big bull run in 2024? Yes or no? I got a pretty significant yes for that. Ah, I'll leave it like that. Hey, Dune, what do you mean you use bull and bear? I'm not following. I understand what bull and bear are in relation to the market, but what do you mean you use them? Please explain. Oh, is that like a website you're saying? Hey Raymond, how are you, my friend? That is correct, Raymond. There's a significant decline around the 11th, 13th. It looks like it's more towards the 13th, but over like like 5 to 7 days around the like from the 13th onward. Oh, you're talking about the ETFs. You use the bullish and bearish leveraged ETFs like SDD or SQQ or something like that. SDS. I think those are shorts though. Yeah, that's a pretty good way to go about it. I utilize options because I've never had really a lot of money. A very short period of my life, I had a lot of money, so I play around with options because the overhead's not a lot. I never had a lot of money because I never really stuck around working for somebody else. I spent most of my life figuring it out how to predict the stock market utilizing tarot cards. For most of my life, that wasn't profitable. It takes time to figure it out. But yeah, if I had more capital, I would definitely be messing around with the leveraged ETFs, especially the long versions of those. The short versions, not so much. I would, but not nearly as often. As far as whether or not you should short, oh, do I expect it to affect crypto? I believe so, but let me just double check with Bitcoin here. Hard to tell if it affects it based on the December Bitcoin reading. Let me see. It doesn't have as much of an impact on crypto markets. And should you? Oh, I've got a lot less than that, Dune. A lot less than that. I'm playing with $200 right now. So I'm gonna grow that into a bunch more, but that's what I'm starting with right now. So S&P 500 shorted on the from the 11th to the 13th. Probably not those dates, but you are on the right track there. What I would say you want to do is I put on a partial short here on the 11th. Add to that short or here on the 11th. I mean, like probably around just after midday in the midst of some price swings, with a notable move higher in the midst of those price swings, open up a partial short, and then in the beginning of the day here, another move to the upside. I'd add to that short, complete that short there. I mean, there's quite a lot of places where you'll be able to close that short, and you should probably do so sooner rather than later. But the ideal moment to close out of the short is probably going to be like maximum gain probably here, but it's also risky to hold a short that long. Probably better bet is to get out of the short here on the 6th. That would be my safest bet, I think. But there could even be opportunity there on the 1st and here on the 30th. I bought puts that expire out on January 5th. So I've got plenty of time. I bought a really safe position because I'm preparing myself for the Mercury retrograde strategy that I've developed over the last 15 years. So the strategy goes as follows. What happens in the S&P 500 between the 24th and I believe it's January 1st. Let me make sure. Hold on. Oh, sorry, and the December 23rd. Okay. Why isn't it cloning? Oh. Right, so what happens, the overall chart pattern that forms between this time period will have an inverted kind of version of that same chart pattern between there and... Is that right? Wow, really short middle portion. Wow, that is really short middle portion. Should have sort of like an inverted version. This can't be right. This I gotta have the dates screwed up. I gotta check this out. This can't be right. December 13th. Okay, I have it for the 23rd. It's December 13th. That makes sense. I knew something was not right. Okay, so what happens, chart pattern behavior between this period of time. This is actually a pretty short retrograde. We should have an inverse kind of version of that chart pattern here. It's not going to be identical, but close. It won't be identical because we have weekends that will screw up the pattern. And then we have a very, very similar chart pattern take place between here and the 20th. So this chart period will mimic this chart period, or I should say this chart period will mimic this chart period, and then in between we'll have an inverse of whatever this chart pattern is like. And that's the Mercury retrograde strategy. You don't want to trade it within this period of time. You want to trade at the beginning at these pivot points. Like this is a pivot point. You can see, look, it's a pivot point. Look at it. Look where it is. That's a pivot point, right? So we should see declining here for the most part. There have been some cases where it ended up being bullish. We have big moves bullish, but that's very, very rare. I don't really see that happening here. Yeah, you got it right. I must have misread this. I probably misread this. No, it's a typo. It says the 23rd, but it should say 13th. I'm going to change that right now. Nice move. I haven't done a 2024 for coin yet, but I would say that we are seeing this move here. This Ace of Wands move is taking place here. Probably continues in the 2020. Well, let's see. I got a yes. It hits 150 in 2024. All right, guys, and with that said, I'm going to roll. Thank you all so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that Rule of Karma channel's counting on you. I'm counting on you. Your own karma is counting on you. You do so here at the resources tab of our website, Tarot for Traders. 5% of the profits from every profitable trade utilizing this information should be donated forward to one of these charities. 5% of the profit should be donated back to the channel. That's the unwritten agreement between the universe and anybody utilizing this information for personal gain. The universe has no problem with people utilizing this information for personal gain, as long as they are simultaneously utilizing this information to help other people. So the way that you guarantee that is to make sure you follow through on the rule of karma with every profitable trade. If you put it off, what we do now echoes through eternity. You'll continue to put it off. The universe will shut you off. So don't be that guy. Follow through. The universe will set it back to you tenfold for being an angel investor of the channel. Blessings to all my angel investors.